They're back here for. Oh, can we do Fillmore?
Yeah.
Yes, we can do Fillmore.
Can I break that room with this, with my client on the one matter, with Ms. Brown?
Okay,
The
after
HR
Fillmore.
part.
After Fillmore. After Fillmore.
Can I take no position and wait? Because I take no position.
Okay, you can. So let's just go on the record on 11 Fillmore. Snyder, we have Mr. Vista, we have Ms. Rivera, we have Ms. Cuny, we have Ms. Choi, Ms. O'Neill, and we have Ms. Floria. Ms. Floria, are you taking no position on Fillmore?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, you're excused.
Thank you.
And can you check, Ms. Radosevich, are you still up there? I see there are tiles there. Thank you, we're finally able to go ahead. Thank you for
Right.
Believe, hopefully the mother is still present, she had called it by phone.
Oh, she did call in? Okay, is Lynette Williams, are you on the Zoom? If you are, please unmute and introduce yourself.
She had also been stuck in the break.
No, she was brought back from the breakout, right?
Okay.
And we have Pastor Williams still.
I do think we can.
Okay.
Go ahead.
All right. Did anybody file anything after 8 o'clock this morning? I'm sorry, after 7 o'clock this morning? Okay. First, this is a motion to shorten time. Anything else towards shortening time, department? Ladies.
No, Your Honor, we rely on our business.
Your position on shortening time is Rivera?
Council support shortened time, we don't have anything done.
Okay, and Ms. O'Neill, your position on shortened time?
With the understanding that I'm essentially going to need to represent for Ms. Williams since she hasn't had time to file a declaration, we wouldn't oppose.
I just have one preliminary question. Should this be an FTC?
Good question. So we did actually, this was referred and accepted to FTC. However, Ms. Williams decided that she didn't want to join FTC.
Ah, okay, great. I just didn't want to be taking this away from the FTC court. For my edification, if she were an FTC, this would have been heard in FTC, right?
I believe so, yes.
Okay,
Yep.
very good. Okay, so Ms. O'Neill, you will agree to shorten time if you can present your client's position orally.
That's correct.
All right, as to the substantive motion.
Thank you, Your Honor. There has been a pattern of issues with mom's visitation, hence it hasn't been liberalized in almost a year since the visitation order was entered. Visitation is still monitored at 15-minute intervals. However, I think some of those issues are noted in the visit reports, but the real thing that we're here on is for short time is the Bear Mace incident. So that presents a significant danger and safety risk to 1-year-old twins. Adults were having a reaction to it, and the issues as noted in our filings are the lack of forthcomingness and the inappropriate response and the lack of taking protection. Something in Ms. Williams' explanation.
Sorry, the lack of taking protection, what do you mean by
Sorry.
that?
Lack of acting protectively when the exposure occurred. So the visit monitor walked back into the apartment and observed Ms. Williams and Isaiah both coughing profusely. Ms. Williams and the twins did not, were not leaving the area. There was no effort from Ms. Williams to contact the visit monitor, to go into the hallway, to go into the lobby where visits previously occurred. So, and another issue as well.
So were they on the couch? Did they stay on the couch where the clothes were, or did they get up off the couch where the clothes were?
So I was, to pull up the exact language from the visit monitor in our exhibit. I'm just pulling it up right now. Upon entry, mom is heard coughing. Mom is seen walking away from the couch carrying Isaiah, and they're both coughing profusely. Visit supervisor asks what happened. Mom mumbles, mentioning residue, and puts Isaiah into the children's bedroom. Visit supervisor asks for clarification. Mom quickly responds, nothing. So
she was walking away from the couch where the clothes were with the bear spray.
But I think, yes, Your Honor, but the issue is that we don't know when the bear spray, if it was bear spray, went off. We don't know if it was 1 minute, we don't know if it was several minutes.
Did it go off, or was it on the clothes? What I understood from reading this is the bear spray was left on the clothes because mom had used the bear spray earlier in the day. Am I reading that wrong?
So I believe it's our understanding that the visit monitor, the visit had already been going on for about 2 hours at that point. They had done sweeps at the apartment, had been there, observed no bear spray, observed no reaction to it. It was only at over 2 hours into the visit when they did, and the visit monitor walked into the room and had a reaction as well. It wasn't like the visit monitor picked up Miss Williams' clothing. So there's something that was amiss there, where either bear mace went off or another substance was used in the apartment. But either way, it's our contention that it was not residue, it was something much more active than that. Otherwise, the visit monitor would have had a reaction an hour earlier. And the
Hold on. Check in.
I will be able to provide clarifying information on this.
I'm just trying to read from the narrative. I don't see, and please, I read this morning. Did the visit monitor go in? It doesn't say whether the visit monitor went into the apartment at the beginning of the visit.
Your Honor, I believe it does indicate at the different points of monitoring in the, so first of all, we don't have the full visit report, we have the unusual incident report, that's just focused on this time frame. But at 1 o'clock it notes mom is seated on the couch.
Okay, but what happened before 1 o'clock?
No, the incident happened at 1:15, so this is the check-in directly before at 1 p.m. Saying that mom is seated on the couch, leaning against the armrest on one side with Isaiah slightly standing in her arm. That's where allegedly the clothes were with the alleged residue. So, and the visit monitor clearly went into the apartment in order to observe that. And if they'd been so close to the residue before, sitting on the couch 15 minutes prior, they would have been coughing or having a reaction.
All right, I see that now. Okay, I understand. All right, sorry.
So
And did you ever find the bear spray?
No, Miss Williams initially declined to answer questions. Then Miss Williams told the visit monitor, oh, it was bear spray. Never showed the visit monitor the canister any evidence that it actually was bear spray. So, I mean, we don't have any definitive proof it wasn't bear spray. However, there are some significant safety concerns because Miss Williams is in active use. So
Okay,
we don't
tell
know
me
for
about
sure.
that. That is said, but tell me how we know she's in active use.
I believe through conversations, Miss Williams has been somewhat forthcoming about.
Mr. Ziska, how do we know Ms. Williams is in active use?
Well, part of it is her lack of engagement in services. The UAs that she does provide, the one being back in, the most recent one being in November, was positive for her substances of choice, which was alcohol and marijuana. She has also talked to me about, since then, earlier this year, using marijuana and drinking alcohol regularly when I was trying to get her into detox and into inpatient treatment at ABHS again. She had disclosed to me that she was drinking regularly.
That was in what month?
That was January or February, around the last shared planning meeting, or we had JSC scheduled. So it was around that date, which would have been February 18th, I believe, that the JSC was scheduled. We had conversations outside of the JSC.
Anything else?
Yeah, Ms. Williams also, her most recent SUD evals have recommended inpatient treatment. Ms. Williams has not completed that, so the assumption is that she's not in treatment right now. She's not completed inpatient treatment unless Ms. Williams has gone cold turkey completely on her own, which does not necessarily make sense considering the facts on the ground here.
Any evidence Ms. Williams uses anything other than alcohol and marijuana?
She historically has tested positive for methamphetamines in her
When?
use as well. I can pull the dates of that.
Since November, any evidence that Ms.
There might have been one in December.
I'm just pulling up the UAs. I have them under Loyal's case, not the Fillmore case, so I'm just pulling that up right now.
Well, actually, there was a UA in December that he was taking her to, but then she didn't actually UA that day. I called the provider. They had no evidence of her UA, even though I took her to the agency, watched her go inside and come back out.
Okay, it's pulling up now. How far along is she in the process?
I think she's due around May. I I'm not sure when either.
Okay, so the notes that I have, just, her last UA was December 17th of 2024. The UA was positive for marijuana and methamphetamine. She also did a UA on November 28th, 2024, UA positive for marijuana and meth. And her most recent SUD eval, I think, was in November 2024, and I believe that the recommendation, I think she did one for a walk to remember, but she hasn't signed an ROI for that, so we don't have that one yet. But the one that we have is from November 2024, which did recommend inpatient treatment, as IOP was not something that she was fulfilling the requirements of at the time.
Okay, Ms. Rivera.
The cost of the department, this is a safety concern, and the only way to make sure that these kinds of incidents aren't occurring at this time is for supervised visits. We're not asking for a decrease in visits, or to interfere with the parent-child relationship in any way. These are very young children who are unable to report any safety issues themselves. And we're concerned about, there appeared to be a lack of minimization with this particular concern. And then the issue about feeding her child things and either misunderstanding or lying about it is making her son be very uncomfortable and feeling sick. Is an ongoing concern that hopefully the supervisor or president would be able to help direct the mother as to which foods were appropriate to feed him or not.
Ms. O'Neill.
Thank you. So unfortunately, Ms. Williams hasn't been able to send the photo of the bear mace, but this was bear mace. Essentially, while the children were in the playpen, they also have an opening that they can go in and out, and Ms. Williams realized that this canister was still in the area, so she moved it behind or underneath the couch, I think behind, just to make sure, because these kids at their age are just grabbing everything, to make sure that they didn't actually, grab it and accidentally discharge it. She thought there might be some residue in the, whatever, however it comes out, I don't know the exact setup of a bear mace canister. Upon further discussion, she realized also that something that she took off when she got it, which she got this from her uncle as a means to defend herself, must have been a safety clip that she got rid of, which prevents accidental discharge. So she realized, essentially after the visit had ended, that must have been what happened, is that she no longer had the safety clip, and so when she moved it, it accidentally discharged. And so, as far as an inappropriate response, this report only says she's just chuckling about the circumstances in which she had to use it, but there's no indication that she was asked to show the canister. So while I understand that the person didn't see it, they didn't ask her to show it. So she wasn't, obfuscating in some way. But essentially that's just what happened. This is a completely anomalous event. She's been having visits at home for ages and never had an issue like this. She actually believes that the bear mace canister at this point is probably empty, but can essentially get rid of it and or get a replacement safety clip, which appears to be available online, and safely store it. So this is a one-time accident. As far as the dairy incidents, I did note for the other parties that this is the first time this was brought to my attention. It's not something I've ever been able to discuss with Ms. Williams. The department has also not brought in, for instance, the ADA team that had been discussed when there was questions about a neuropsych evaluation, to discuss any of this or talk about how it might be better communicated with her, whether something like a sign on her refrigerator would be a good reminder, just ways that this could happen. Ms. Williams would note she did not give cheese puffs to Isaiah. Elijah was eating them, and she wouldn't be surprised if he grabbed one from his brother, and she just missed that happening. And as for the time where there was yogurt, it was also noted by the caregiver that he had already been vomiting earlier that morning. And so it's unclear to what extent whatever she gave him caused an impact. But essentially these are isolated accidents that simply don't merit further intrusion on this family's time together. And I'm happy to answer additional questions, but I think given the anomalous circumstances here, it's just simply not merited by this accident with the bear mace.
And is the neuropsych one of the services?
It is not.
The court denied our motion for neuropsych.
known that Miss Williams has, fetal alcohol spectrum disorder.
She has what?
Fetal alcohol spectrum disorder.
Okay.
I suppose I would just note as a last point, there's no evidence that this was any sort of illicit substance. I don't think that everyone would have had the same reaction that they were having to something like marijuana or anything else like that. I think it's clear that bear mace is something that would make everyone cough, and that's what happened.
All right, so, this is an isolated incident. I appreciate Ms. Williams' explanation for it. It was negligent on her part. It was certainly not intentional. I think this court doesn't put a lot of stock in people's reactions to things and also this court doesn't really value the word appropriate or inappropriate because it's really not helpful. People are different. People have different reactions to things. The issue before this court is not appropriateness, it is safety. And what Ms. Williams did was unsafe. But she realizes it was unsafe. She realizes it was a mistake and that it was negligent. That is not what appears to be an ongoing safety threat. If it was lying around, I don't know what the visit supervisor is doing as far as clearing the apartment, but in any event, it looks like it was a mistake. And she was walking away from it. It wasn't like she was sitting on the couch and leaving the kids in the playpen or leaving the kids on the floor and not really attending to their reaction. And also the visit supervisor doesn't know when the bear spray went off in relationship to when the visit supervisor came in. So I can't find from the evidence that Ms. Williams didn't react to it and try to help minimize what happened. Anyway, the bigger concern is the diet, and I hear Ms. O'Neill saying this is a new issue, it hasn't really been staffed. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to leave the monitoring at 15 minutes as it is, but I am going to say that the parties need to work on educating mom to the extent that she's willing to participate in the dietary restrictions, and that if she is going to feed the kids during a visit, the feeding needs to be observed by the visit monitor. So in other words, visit monitor has to be there when mom gets out the food and approve the food that mom's about to feed the kids.
Your Honor, just to respond to one thing quickly if I can. This was discussed with Ms. O'Neill and Mom at a shared planning meeting in December.
Well, the strategies for reminding her and dealing with her about it. So what we're going to do during visits is visit monitor will monitor what foods are being prepared and provided to the kids. She doesn't have to stand there and watch the kids eat, but just to remind mom, it'll be a good reminder, it'll be a good assistance to get it in mom's head that the child can't have dairy.
It's my understanding from my client that already occurs. It still is kind of an ongoing issue, but we will note that.
What are the visit supervisor approves the food?
Not approves it, but already talks to mom and reminds her regularly not to give Isaiah lactose.
Including when she's preparing meals, as I told them.
And so what does the visit supervisor do if mom is preparing dairy for the child?
Reminds her, hey, Isaiah cannot have dairy.
And then if mom gives Isaiah yogurt, what does the visit supervisor do?
When you supervisor, according to the notes, is learning things like that. Or reminds her with the cheese puff incident. Reminded her ASI cannot have dairy, and she just continued to let him eat the cheese puff.
Okay, well, why doesn't the visit supervisor end the visit? I mean, end the visit. If the dairy is causing this great distress, if the visit supervisor is watching the child eat dairy, end the visit. Stop the eating.
Okay, we'll include that in the order that if visit supervisor observes mom giving Isaiah dairy, we'll visit one.
Yeah. Anything else for the order?
I don't think so from our perspective.
Pastor Williams, you want to give us an update on how the twins are doing?
I do. First, I want to interject something. Lynette is lactose intolerant. I've had Lynette since she was a month old. She's very knowledgeable of what you eat and what you don't. Loyal, memory serving like her other son, is lactose intolerant. And so Isaiah is lactose intolerant. And I'm listening to all of the testimony from ones.
I'm going to object.
I've already ruled, so there's no danger in me changing anything. I can hear from Pastor Williams. Thank you. Go ahead, Pastor Williams.
There were cheese puffs on there's a list, I think a caregiver report that they give you after the visit. And there was also incidences with cheese ravioli. And the baby would go and he would, visit, and then he would come back and he would be like hypothetical, like on a Friday, and he would be constipated, and I would have to work on him that entire weekend. And then Monday, he would go back for his visit. So when I hear one saying that she needs to be educated, I'm in agreement, but she has prior education because this is something that she struggles with. It's not as if she's just not knowledgeable and, that's just not the case. So, my concern is that Zaya, and I see that you've taken steps to ensure that the supervisor will see what's being said, and I think that's good. But I just want to interject that, and I also want to say that, just for FYI, having gone to school to be a CDP, and it has nothing to do with this case, but relapse is definitely a part of recovery. And a lot of people don't know that. And so I just want to interject that because family gets very disappointed when ones go back, but it is a part of recovery. And I just want to say that I have faith in Lynette. I'm praying with her, praying for her, and striving to take care of her children until she's able to do it herself, her and the dad, or the dad, or whatever the case may be. So I think that's important, that we don't feel as though this is new to that, because it's not.
Thank you, Pastor Williams, so much for being here. And thanks. Is that Isaiah or?
This is Isaiah.
Hi.
They've got a little call. Say hi.
I'm getting a smile. Hey, buddy.
They're doing good. They're overall, they're very happy babies, and they are, they're good babies. They really are. And I'm not saying it because they're my great grandchildren.
Not at all.
It's a fact. People tell me that all the time, how they interact. They're not afraid of people. They have a real kind, but they also are very opinionated too.
I hear that. I hear that. I don't think he likes your earrings today. He just swatted at him.
Oh yeah, it's like the Fulham.
Great. Well, thank you for being here. It's good to see you.
This is how long my hair is supposed to be, and they figured it all out. Yeah.
All right. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Okay, so that concludes this matter. Okay. We are gonna need to take a break here shortly, but I want to try our best to get a Hulu done. So let's handle a Hulu and then we'll have to take our break. Were you able to talk to Moses?
We could not get Moses, we got Grandma Rose, and Grandma Rose is available to drive up. And we spoke to Jess. And she completed the background check a few weeks ago, same time Moses did, has the code, and I think it's been sent along. And one of the things spoke with Karen. He said this weekend, we don't know if that means Friday or Saturday. We can do a follow-up call with her after today. I do need to let you know that the CYF does not have a live background check for her. Maybe she started it, but the last background check we have from her was from December 12th, 2020. DCYF also, when the children previously were placed with Ms. Akulu, we found ourselves in a situation where Ms. Rose Akulu gave the children back to Ms. Muhammad. And we had a placement hearing in 2022 or 2023, where the court also entertained whether or not to place the children back with Ms. Rose Akulu after another disruption of in-home placement. And at that time, Rose Akulu told the assigned social worker that she was scared of Ms. Muhammad. Ms. Muhammad had threatened her, and that she wouldn't be comfortable having the children with her unless there was no contact order, prohibiting contact.
That was 2020.
2022 or 2023. So we cannot agree to this.
I understand you're not gonna agree. Very.
I need to see my kids. I need to see both of my kids. I haven't seen them in a year. You know who I'm talking to.